Good afternoon, and welcome to your 107 News. I'm Jeremiah Brock.
And I'm Aaron Sample. In breaking news, the 30-Year War has finally ended in the year 1648 with the Peace of Westphalia.
This conflict took the lives of 1/3 of urban residents and 2/5 of the rural population. It all began with the formation of the Protestant Union in 1608. This group was created by Protestant priests due to the change in location of Protestants and Catholics since the Peace of Augsburg in 1555. Catholics followed suit in 1609 with the Catholic League. The first section of the war, or the Bohemian phase, began in 1618. Catholics won many key battles during this phase of the war and moved to Silesia, north to the Baltic, and east to the Pomerania during the Danish phase of the war. This phase is referred to as the Danish phase because the leader of the Protestants, King Charles IV, was of Denmark. Once again, the Catholics dominated. During this phase, the Edict of Restitution was written and enforced by the Emperor of Habsburgs. This edict restored all land Catholics lost to Protestantism since 1552 and prohibited the practice of any faith other than Catholicism and Lutheranism. The third, or the Swedish phase of the war, began in 1630 when Gustav Adolphus, the Swedish king at the time, arrived in Germany. He was met by the armies of the Catholic Cardinal Richelieu of France. The Protestants won 2 very important battles, but Adolphus perished in battle anyways. The last phase of the war took place in Spain when Cardinal Richelieu, afraid of Adolphus' troops regrouping, declared war on Spain.
Many small farmers lost their land during the course of this war, allowing nobles to buy it later.
Europe is in economic crisis, and the little guy is really feeling it. Jeremy has a story.
While nobles have also been affected, it's the peasants that have really been hit the hardest. Most peasants live in villages led by the most financially stable, independent farmers. These farmers provide the majority of jobs and are spokespeople for nobles. Second on the social ladder are small landowners. Small landowners don't have enough land to be self-sufficient, but are well off enough to get by. The poorest of the poor are servants or dependent laborers. Now, the staple food for villagers is bread. However, peasants are up in arms as they aren't able to afford it due to high unemployment and high prices. Some have even gone as far as steal bread from bakers.
They took your bread! Hey, that's my bread! Come back!
And resell it at a fair price. Jeremy Brock from 107 News.
We're so bad.
Okay. Thanks, Jeremy. There's a new kind of art style and music style that's been sweeping the nation. It's called Baroque.
The word Baroque comes from the Portuguese word meaning odd-shaped or imperfect pearls. Baroque was a unique, overblown, and unbalanced style, most popular during the 18th century. The Catholic Church played a very large role in the development of Baroque style. At this time, the Church was looking for an art that would touch everyone, and not just the elite. And Baroque did just that. It especially took hold in Catholic countries like Spain and Latin America. Peter Paul Rubens is considered the best painter of this period. Peter was known for his use of color and sensual paintings of Roman goddesses, water nymphs, and saints and angels.
Hi, I'm here with Johann Bach. Now, Bach, how does it feel to know that everything you did during your life didn't matter until after you died, and that no one even cared about you at all until you died, and that you weren't famous till... Room 107 News, Jeremiah Brock. While population decline has allowed peasants in the West to escape serfdom, serfdom has increased in the East. Mike has more.
Thanks, Mike.
In other news, governments, despite all obstacles, are making real progress in the unification and organization of both its people and its armies. It's the 17th century, and European countries are making steps to become more powerful. Countries have established greater taxation and more efficient bureaucracies. Countries are also striving to increase the influence they have over their subjects. The only thing standing in the way of countries are the already existing churches and nobles that currently influence the public. Also, some villages speak a different language than the language spoken in the capital. While they haven't succeeded in completely taking the power away from these institutions, they are setting themselves up for a very prosperous future. Governments are also advancing their armies. Initiatives led by the French are developing new and advanced training and soldier deployment techniques, as well as larger armies. Other governments are quickly following suit to compete. Britain is currently working to complete the world's largest navy. Nobles play a very interesting role in these highly advanced armies. Nobles eager to join war efforts not only paid for their position as high-ranking officers, but also had to supply horses and food for their men. On top of that, the death toll for nobles was also incredibly high. King Philip IV and other leaders had their hands full with revolts. King Philip alone had to deal with revolts in Catalonia, Portugal, as well as the Netherlands. The public is demanding representative government, lower taxes, and affordable food. Sicily is attempting to meet some of these demands by subsidizing the price of bread. Since the rebels have no central leader, they should be defeated. When questioned, government stated plans to become more organized so that future instigators are silent before they can incite rebellion. And with that, we move on to a new segment, The World Before Columbus. Mike?
The world was a very different place before Columbus sailed the ocean blue, especially economically. In the Indian Ocean, trade was very much centralized around the port of Malacca off the Malay Peninsula. The port became a great commercial entrepot, or trading post, in which goods were shipped for storage while awaiting redistribution to other places. Marco Polo's travels also inspired an interest in Eastern Asian culture, and rightfully so. China was a world power during the Ming Dynasty. Under its rule, China's population tripled. They also had the most advanced economy in the world until at least the 18th century. China also tried its hand at exploration. Admiral Xing explored from China to as far as the Atlantic. One single voyage, he traveled 12,000 miles, in comparison to Columbus's 2,400. India was also a very important force in the Indian Ocean, their main exports being pepper and cotton.
Moving down to South Africa, the Mamluk Egyptian Empire was a large power in Kai, very rich in gold. They, like the Europeans, considered trading across the Atlantic. However, they realized doing so would divert gold away from important trans-Saharan trade routes. Let's talk about the two major empires of the pre-New World, the Ottoman Empire and the Persian Empire. Persian Safavids were a major producer and exporter of silk. They also traded as far as the Indian Ocean. The Turkish Ottomans were a force to be reckoned with. The military was considered invulnerable. Under Sultan Muhammad II, the Ottoman Empire captured Constantinople and renamed it Istanbul and made it their capital.
Lastly, the Battle of the Middlemen, Venice and Genoa reached its peak before the discovery of the New World. Venice in 1304 established relations with the Sultan of Mamluk Egypt in order to open trade with Asia. With this deal, they became a monopoly, the only way to obtain luxury goods and spices from Asia. They made as much as 40% in pure profit.
That's it for your Channel 107 News. I'm Jeremiah Brock.
I'm Mike Stram.
And I'm Erin Sample. Good night and goodbye. Thanks, Mike. You ready? Would you calm down?
Go ahead.
Good afternoon, and welcome to your afternoon 107 News. Good afternoon, and welcome to your I don't know how to read. Alright, so, are we recording it?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Alright, so, okay, are we recording? Circum has increased the
Tape your papers to the desk.